Testing 1, 2, 3. This will be the July 15th, 2015 City Council regular meeting.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order a regular meeting of the City Council of Satellite Beach, July 15th, 2015, at 7 p.m. Will you please join me in a moment of silence and the pledge? Pledge, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. This time, move on to agenda item number 3, recognition of a longtime volunteer, John Baker. The plaque is too small. The plaque would have to be so big to write everything that you've done for us over the tremendous amount of years. I was thinking back, I said, oh, how long have I known Mr. Baker? I can't remember when I didn't know him. It's family. So, with deep appreciation to John Baker for many thousands of volunteer hours eradicating the invasive Brazilian pepper trees from, and we have here Sampson Island Nature Park over many years, but it goes well beyond that. The whole barrier island here, you've kind of created a better environment for all of us. You've been a great friend to our city, to Florida's native environment. We present this to you, the Satellite Beach City Council, July 15, 2015. So thank you very much for everything. Today, it says Bavard's Best Pepper Tree Buster. We present that to you. Thank you for everything you've done for us. Thank you very much.
And John, while the mayor is coming back to his seat, I just want to congratulate you on this award. I was around, if you'll recall, when we started on Sampson's Island, and you were there from the very beginning, too, and what you've done for us is just really remarkable by any standard. So congratulations, and thank you so much.
And John, I've also seen you in Indian Harbor Beach, and I've seen you up and down the roads with your truck, with your saw in the back and the Garland too. So you've helped not only Satellite Beach, but, just the whole Barrier Island community. And I don't know how many, I'm sure you know how many trees you cut, but I don't think most people are anywhere near aware of how many trees you cut down.
Asking who knows.
How many?
How many?
Well, I could never possibly count the trees, but between the two causeways, since I started as a volunteer, I've cleared 1,090 properties.
Wow. Amazing.
1,090 properties.
A lot of them must answer that.
Yeah. And John, thank you very much. At this time, I'll open it up for city citizens' comments on any non-agenda item.
Good evening, Council. This kind of is an agenda item, but it's about John Baker. Is that all right?
That's fine.
When I was working with the Neighbor Helping Neighbor program with Fred Robacek, what we would do is help senior citizens mostly, but not necessarily anybody that needed some additional help. And sometimes we'd be hanging blinds or climbing a ladder to change a light bulb. And John Baker was always a phone call away. It didn't matter what the task was. We wouldn't try to give him all of our work, but we would call around, and if we couldn't find somebody to do the thing, we always knew that John would pick up his phone and he would say, yes, I'll be right over. He put together right here on, what's the street right here?
Cassie.
Cassie. He put together somebody's backyard shed, and he did it himself, and it took hours. And it was maybe just 15 years ago, so. But he was happy to do it. He put down the hurricane anchors, and there just wasn't anything that he wouldn't do to help out his fellow neighbors. So, John, I'm so glad the council has recognized you, and you've added so much to our city, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Frank, that microphone is not working.
Okay, thank you. John, can you check that mic for us, please? Or Andy, thank you.
Testing, testing.
Can we test this one working for you?
Just plug it in the plug.
Testing.
That was one.
That worked. Is everybody's microphone working? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. We move on? Okay. Citizens' comments are still open. Are there any other citizens' comments for non-agenda items? Hearing none, come back to council for city council comments. Who would like to start?
Testing. Is this working?
Oh, wait, I do have one thing. Great job on the Beachcaster. Very nice. And good article, Lorraine. Thank you very much. I got a chance to look at that this afternoon, and just want to say thank you to you and to Courtney for a job well done.
You're welcome. The city manager and I attended the South Beaches Coalition meeting. Not much to say.
Thank you.
I attended on July 4th. The VFW had a ceremony honoring not only the 4th of July, but they presented a plaque to Russell Merrick. And for those of you who don't know who Russell Merrick is, he's a disabled veteran who grew up in Satellite Beach. His parents still live on Cherry Drive, and Russ now lives in Viera in a specially built home that was built for him because of the injuries that he sustained.
1, 2, 3. Hello.
In his travels in Iraq. But it was a great event, and the VFW wants to continue working with the city, and I think it was great that they did what they did for us. And also on Monday night, I attended the Space Coast League of Cities meeting, and Bob Gabordi, the editor of Florida Today, was the guest speaker. Did a great job articulating the direction that Florida Today is moving in, the different venues that they are presenting news to the public in, and it was enlightening to listen to all of the things that's going on at Florida Today. So that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Moving on to agenda item 6, city manager's report. Courtney?
Thank you, Mayor. We did want to congratulate Ashlyn Harris, who is our hometown hero right now, and will probably always be our hometown hero, for her and the rest of the U.S. women's soccer team for winning the World Cup. Very exciting. I don't know if you got to watch the last game, but that was a really great thing to watch. And I think we're moving forward with the naming of the soccer field after Ashlyn, so we'll bring that back to you when we get that ready. The Scorpion Court right-of-way striping has been completed. You had approved that back in April of 2014, but we had some delays due to budget constraints, and now we were able to get that done. So if you have a chance, go out there and look at that. The intent of that project was to make it a little safer when you have the mass exodus of Satellite High School students leaving at the end of the day. The County Commission will be holding their workshop on impact fees on Thursday, July 16th at 9 a.m. That's tomorrow. I will be there to support the city's position on the school impact fee amendments that were requested by the school board. And we did provide you the proposed budget. That has been passed out to you. Next week on Thursday, you will receive the proposed budget presentation from staff, and we will be asking you to set your tentative millage rate at that meeting. Then I also have one action item. I would like to schedule a executive session or shade meeting, whichever way you want to describe it, to discuss upcoming union negotiations in light of the recent pension legislation. I'd like to schedule that for July 22nd at 5 p.m., if that's possible for everyone.
Everybody's schedule is, since it's earlier, is 5. Okay?
I'm out of the city.
I can't hear. Where is Adam?
He's on the way.
5 p.m. on the 22nd of July.
Okay, why 5?
Because it's not a community meeting, so we figured if everybody could be here at 5, we could save on some overtime from the staff having to stay later than usual.
Okay.
So it's 5 and the date, everybody?
That's next Wednesday. Yep, that's
Okay,
fine.
Since it is an action item, I'll open up for public comment on this action item from the city's manager's report. Hearing none, council consensus from everybody?
I'm good.
Thank you, Courtney. Good. Okay, moving on to agenda item number 7, discuss, take action on results of requests for qualifications for bond counsel.
Staff is recommending to approve Bryant Miller Olive, PA, to provide bond counsel for the city, particularly for our $2.5 million capital improvements loan. We are in the process of securing that loan of tax-exempt financing for the purpose of funding the various capital improvement program that we presented to you in this past year. We did issue an RFQ for bond counsel services to provide legal advice, and basically they would be reviewing our legal documents with regards to the loan. We did receive 2 responses to the RFQ on June 18th, and the firms were Bryant Miller Olive and then neighbors Giblin and Nickerson. The selection committee consisted of Attorney Jim Beadle, Comptroller Jennifer Holland, and Assistant City Manager Andy Stewart. And after reviewing the proposals, they have recommended Bryant Miller Olive, PA, identified at a cost of $11,500 with reimbursements not to exceed $1,000. So with your approval, we'd like to go ahead and put them under contract.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilman Gott, second by Vice Mayor Montanaro. Further discussion from council?
No.
There are none at this time. Open agenda item 7 for public comment. Floor is open. Hearing none, back to council for any further comments? Hearing none. Lenore?
Councilman Breimer?
Yes.
Councilman Osmer?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Montanaro?
Yes.
Councilwoman Gott?
Yes.
Mayor Catino?
Yes, motion passes. Thank you. Moving on to agenda item 8, discuss, take action on the results of invitation to a bid for the dance floor replacement. I think this is being taken off.
Yes, we would like to postpone this item.
Thank you. Moving on to agenda item 9, discuss, take action on ordinance 1107. Jim?
Ordinance number 1107, an ordinance of the City of Satellite Beach, Brevard County, Florida, amending Section 30-706 Satellite Beach City Code, establishing an effective date to remove nuisance trees defined therein, providing severability, providing an effective date, the first reading of ordinance number 1107.
Thank you.
Move to adopt ordinance 1107 on first reading.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilwoman Gott, second by Vice Mayor Montanaro. Okay. Discussion.
Go
ahead, I have this discussion, but go ahead.
The Planning and Zoning Board had looked at 90 days implementation. Is that something that's addressed in what we're doing? From looking at the meeting notes of the Planning and Zoning Board, they looked at an implementation date of 90 days after the ordinance was passed. That's still...
That's correct. That's why you see the date in there of November. That's basically projecting out 90 days from the anticipated adoption.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Go ahead.
I just have a concern that we have some sort of a process in place for notifying folks that will be affected by this. It's my understanding that there are not a lot of properties that are concerned with this. Is that correct?
Yeah, I would say that that's correct. You know, if you combine both the Melaleucas, Brazilian peppers, and the Australian pines together, there's probably half a dozen locations. Now, some of those locations, I would say almost all of them, have multiple trees of some kind, whether they're the Melaleucas or the Brazilian peppers, or whatever they have.
And we will work with them in terms of getting those trees out.
Oh, absolutely. To answer the first part of that question, once, if an ordinance is passed, we will send notice to the ones that we are aware of and let them know about the compliance state. You know, you got to keep in mind that in 5 years, we've only had one code enforcement hearing, and that's because we really do work with the residents, and we will do what we can to assist them in that process.
Good, thanks.
I was just going to say the same thing. It's funny, I was talking to one of my neighbors, and no offense to John, but the guy said, I wouldn't know if there was a pepper tree in my backyard or not. He says, you know, I can't tell one plant from another, so is somebody going to tell me if I have a plant that needs to be removed? And I assumed, I just said, yeah, I'm sure someone from the city, should they see it, will let you know that, yes, you have one of those trees there. But I mean, obviously, I do understand that some people probably wouldn't know what a pepper tree was if it was out in their backyard, other than it's just another weed or something growing out there. So I just wanted to make sure that we had something in place to notify people, by the way, you have a tree that needs to come down.
We do. Yeah, right now, the only way that those invasives will be removed is if the property is redeveloped. You know, the building's torn down or it's a vacant lot and is being developed. Very similar to like DEP, for instance. If you were to get a general development permit over on the ocean, they're going to require that you remove all the invasives. So what we have in place right now is very similar to that. So short of redeveloping that property, there is no vehicle to get that invasive removed. This ordinance would do that. It would allow us as an inspector to literally be driving down the road and happen to see one, that we can then notify the property owner and begin that process.
Mayor, I just had a comment. We did get a request from Mr. Baker to also look at Carrotwood, and we have no issue with doing that, but we can't do it in this ordinance since we didn't advertise that particular section of the code in the title. So if we want to do that, we can just bring it back in another ordinance. So we'll be glad to look into that.
And I did talk with John on that particular item, and I think the same way that the city looked at our own properties for Brazilian pepper trees and Melaleucas, I think we need to, before we incorporate anything, make sure that we have looked at our properties before we include it.
Well, I think also, if that was a tree that we should have had on this, but we didn't, there's a list here we have of Florida exotic, you know, plants and invasive species. So maybe what we should really do is take a look at this, and whatever else we need to add to that, we added at that time, so we're not coming back and adding, you know, 10 different ordinances to do
Right,
something.
yeah, so we can relook at, you know, our properties and maybe meet with Surfrider Foundation. They have, you know, kind of experts in that as well as Mr. Baker, and we can kind of sit down and kind of, you know, do maybe a little inventory of invasives throughout the city. And actually, Surfrider has offered to do that for us as well, so.
At this time, if there's no further comment from council, I'll open up this agenda item 9 for public comment. The floor is open for public comment on agenda item 9. Good evening, Bill.
Hi. How are you?
Please state your name just so it's on the record here if you could.
It should be on.
My name is Bill DeLucia.
Turn the record mic, it may be working now.
Hello? Hello?
Testing, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Working.
Testing.
It's on.
I can speak louder.
Turn that microphone on.
It is on.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Can you hear?
Okay, if you talk right into it.
Okay.
Yeah, this,
Thank you. My name is Bill DeLucia. I am not a resident of Satellite Beach, but I want to applaud Satellite Beach for your forward thinking on this invasive plant ordinance. I do represent Surfrider Foundation. I am their Ocean Friendly Garden Coordinator, and I talked to our chapter lead, Mike Daniel, and we would be willing to work with you in any way possible. If you had elderly citizens that needed our assistance or help with removal, we're all about it. I don't think the citizens of most towns, or for that matter, the citizens of this state, realize what a significant problem invasives are. And there's very few communities that have had the courage to do what you're doing, and I applaud that. And I think it's going to actually hopefully start a snowball effect, because every year as taxpayers, we're all spending tens of millions of dollars to remove these things, but most of us don't realize how much money our state is spending to try and combat invasives. And if we can take a lead on that, I think it's a great thing. And we're willing to help any way possible with Surfrider. I can work with you on identification. And I concur that with regard to identifying the most invasive plants on the lists that have been provided, essentially the ones that have been outlawed for resale, you'd probably be taking the right steps and including those all as the invasive you want to remove. That's about it for now.
Thank you, Bill.
Let me know if you have
Very
any
much.
questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Public comment, Mr. Baker?
With respect to Steve's comment, it's been my experience that probably 1 out of 5 or 1 out of 6 calls are for not pepper trees, but carrot wood. So I go look in the backyard and I have to tell the resident, sorry, it's not a pepper tree and I won't cut it for you.
Thank you. Floor is still open for public comments on agenda item 9. Hearing none, bring it back to council. Any further council comments? Hearing none, Lenore?
Councilman Breimer?
Yes.
Councilman Osmer?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Montanaro?
Yes.
Councilwoman Gott?
Yes.
Mayor Catino?
Yes, motion passes. Thank you, staff. Moving on to agenda item 10, discuss, take action on ordinance 1108. Jim?
Ordinance number 1108, an ordinance of the City of Satellite Beach, Brevard County, Florida, amending Section 30-416 Commercial District, Satellite Beach City Code to authorize boat storage as an accessory use with conditions, providing severability, providing effective date. It's the first reading of ordinance number 1108.
Before we do anything on this, I'd like you to go to page 3, section 3. It says this ordinance shall take effect immediately upon its adoption and shall terminate as provided herein. I didn't see anything about it being terminated herein.
What's it say? Oh, okay. You know, you could take out section 3 because it's reiterated an effective date section.
Section 5.
Just take it out.
So we could just remove section 3 and renumber.
Okay, delete section 3.
Renumber?
Yep.
Yeah.
3. And there are also some punctuation problems on the other page that I'll go over with you after the meeting. And a numbering sequence here needs to be looked at also, but it's not substantive, so we can vote on this.
Do you have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 1108.
Second. I have a motion by Vice Mayor Montanaro, second by Councilman Breimer. Discussion from council? I'm going to open this, at this time, agenda item 10 for public comments. The floor is open. Hearing none, bring it back to council. Any further comments? Hearing none. Lenore?
Councilman Gott?
Yes.
Councilman Osmer?
Yes.
Councilman Breimer?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Montanaro?
Yes.
Mayor Catino?
Yes, motion passes. Thank you. Moving on to agenda item 11, items for the next regular meeting. Like I said in the past, if there's additions that need to be added, please see Courtney on this.
And I just want to remind you, you're going to be here on the 23rd for ethics training in the morning, or in the afternoon, I'm sorry, and then you're going to be here in the evening for the proposed budget presentation. So,
The ethics training is 1?
yes,
Okay.
1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay.
So on July 22nd, it's at 5 o'clock.
Yes.
That's correct, yes. So you have the union shade meeting on July 22nd at 5 o'clock, ethics training on July 23rd at 1 o'clock, and then your special meeting regarding the budget at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
So you're going to be really sick of us by the time that
We already are.
Okay, any further comments on the agenda items for the meeting? Hearing none, please get with Courtney if you need additions. Moving on to agenda item 12, adoption of minutes. Do you have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the city council workshop on July 1st as submitted, and the city council regular meetings of July 1st as submitted.
Second.
I have a motion by Vice Mayor Montanaro, second by Councilman Osmer. Any further discussions on the minutes? Hearing none, Lenore?
Councilman Breimer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Gott?
Yes.
Councilman Osmer?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Montanaro?
Yes.
Mayor Catino?
Yes, motion passes. Thank you. Any further business before the council? Hearing none, meeting's adjourned.
Okay.
We did the ethics training, right? That's the thing.
Yes.
We don't have to do it.
Yeah, me, you, and Dominic.